This episode of Voice Over Par Charcha is powered by voicesbazaar.com, India's premium audio agency.
I used to dub for cartoons.
Okay, तो वो
Yeah.
okay तब से चला रहा था ये चीज.
हाँ, वो that time it was it was a struggle period and you had to earn something to
Okay. Yes,
sustain,
yes,
and that
definitely.
used to be my sustenance. I used to do dubbings. I did some channel voicing also for some time. I want to remain an artist. I want to do creative stuff. I want to do lot of creative stuff, and I don't want to run after the profit and loss. मैंने ये realize किया कि जितना इंटेलिजेंस मुझे यूज करना पड़ रहा है इस आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस को प्रॉम्प्ट करने में, उससे आधे इंटेलिजेंस में मैं स्क्रिप्ट खुद लिखता हूँ.
Welcome to another episode of Voice Over Par Charcha. In this very special episode, we have a dynamic, versatile, multi-talented personality, an award-winning voice artist, an actor, a dubbing producer, director, scriptwriter, podcaster, and the list goes on. It's too big. And last but not the least, the ex-vice president and national creative head at Hindustan Times Group with more than a decade of association. So to my viewers, to my listeners, to my subscribers, it's a great honor to have the one and only Mr. Sumanto Ray on Voice Over Par Charcha. So sir, आपका बहुत स्वागत है Voice Over Par Charcha में.
Thank you very much, sir. और thank you for the intro. ऐसा लग रहा था कि ये खत्म ही नहीं होगा.
ऐसा खत्म होने वाली चीज ही नहीं थी मुझे लग रहा है. I'm damn sure I missed out a few points. I don't think I've covered all the points, but I tried my level best. All right, sir. So first of all, before we start off the episode, heartiest congratulations to you for winning an award in the India Voice Fest 2023.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
And sir, may I know, मेरे जो listeners हैं, viewers हैं, वो जानना चाहेंगे ये किस कैटेगरी में था और थोड़ा अगर आप इस पे elaborate कर सकते हैं.
This was the category was English male film. तो
Okay.
जो हम फिल्मों की जो इंग्लिश डबिंग होती है उसमें जो
Okay.
मेल वॉइस है, so that was the category which where I won for Love Stories 2. Love Stories
Okay,
2 I voiced for Kumud Mishra.
Stories 2. Okay. So, talking about your journey, getting into performing arts and all, तो मुझे लगता है voice acting ये चैप्टर बहुत बाद में आता है. मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि coming on this particular aspect, starting from HT Media, अगर आप थोड़ा अपने बारे में अगर बता सकते हैं, my viewers would like to know that how it all started from the days from your days in HT Media, Hindustan Times here.
See, actually it started much before that.
Okay, it started before that.
मैं थिएटर करता था. थिएटर करने के लिए trust me, I have left some very lucrative jobs in my youth, just for the love of theater, just to do theater and all these things and learn a lot of stuff, learn music, learn dance. So and that kind of brought me into a belief that yes, because I have learned so many different kind of art forms, so and if I want to utilize everything what I've learned, so the only way is to go into direction. So I started my career as a director for ad films. I used to do smaller budget ad films earlier, and then slowly that journey continued, followed by television. I did television for a couple of years, and then this radio thing happened in 2007.
Okay,
So,
2007.
I got a call from HT, and Fever was the brand which was launching. So it was a absolutely baby in the radio industry, and they said we would like you to join as a creative head for Mumbai.
Okay.
That time I was pretty busy with my other stuff and I didn't show much of interest. And what happens is, just like anybody else, even I thought that like doing ads and television and radio, it is basically stepping down.
Yes.
So I didn't show much interest, but then the HR of that company, she persisted to come for a meeting and then decide. So finally I went, and I thought, okay, fine, let's do it. Trust me, I joined in June, and in my head it was very clear कि मैं जून जुलाई अगस्त देखूंगा, क्योंकि वो 3 महीने ऐसे होते हैं जब बॉम्बे में बारिश बहुत होती है और not too much of shoots
Right.
happen, not too much of events happen, so
Yes.
वो स्लो डाउन हो जाता है. तो मैंने कहा ये
हाँ
स्लो
हाँ.
डाउन जो है मैं यहाँ पे कवर कर लूंगा. That was my only this thing. Plus I will learn something new of the private FM, how it works and not. So, so that happened. But when I joined them, and then I realized that, oh my God, this is such an unexplored medium. इसमें बहुत सारी चीजें ऐसी हैं जो कर सकते हैं. Or with the technology development and all these things, we can really produce a lot of good stuff. We play with sounds, we can play with music. So why are we just stuck with the set menu, which was set for every other radio station? Music बजेगा, RJ आएगा, ads बजेंगे, फिर music बजेगा, RJ आएगा, ads बजेंगे, and the clock will go like this. And every radio station was following the similar clock. थोड़ा आगे पीछे, but similar clock.
Yes.
And the only entertaining part would be maybe a sparkler, a comic sparkler somewhere, in between. So when ये formatted हो गया है, and everybody, trust me, everybody that time believed that this is what works, and this is it. So when I came up with the idea कि why don't we try radio dramas, audio dramas. Indian radio has a history of audio dramas. We used to have very nice shows like Hawa Mahal and all. So वो बाद में धीरे-धीरे बंद हो गया. Everywhere it stopped. So I said, why not to bring that culture back? And of course, because the kind of technology we have right now, we'll be able to produce much better stuff. So
Yes.
let us do it. So it took me almost 2.5 years to convince them, because of course it's a new company, new brand. They kind of want to first set their foot right in the market and then start experimenting. So I was persistent that I want to do this, and finally the CEO that time, he agreed upon it. He said, okay, but then he said, then if you want to do it in a larger scale. Don't.
Okay.
So then let us, if you're taking a step which is not a format, which is out of the regular format of a FM, how the FM runs in radio. So then take it bigger, make it bigger. So then I did Ramayan, was my first audio drama, which I did for Fever FM. And I had a star cast of late Mr. Om Puri, who was the narrator of the show. Ravan was played by Nasir Saab, Nasruddin Shah. Then Hanuman was played by Javed Jafri. Dashrath was played by Anupam Kher. I had Ashwini Kalsekar playing Shurpanakha. It was a big. I had late Sudha Shivpuri playing Shabri. It was a huge star cast, and it was never heard before. Such a big star cast in an audio drama format, and it took me really tough time to convince everybody to be a part of it. But when it came out like a masterpiece. We won the New York Festival Award. We won gold in 2 categories, and then we didn't look back. After that, HT as a brand also, they started believing in that concept. We started making more and more audio dramas like that. And that time there was no Spotify, there was no Audible, there was no podcast.
Yes.
So
Of
that
course,
time,
yes.
after it was consumed in radio, telecom industry used to buy it from us. So Airtel, Vodafone, and they would put it in their VAS, value-added services. So, so iTunes, my Ramayana is...
iTunes, yes.
So they used to buy it because there were no podcasts as such. There were no podcasts.
उस time पे नहीं था.
Right. So then we started making, then I made Gandhi, I made Shiva, I made Jai Bajrangi, I made Azad Hind, I made Mahabharat, again a big star cast. Mahabharat was even bigger. But let me tell you, dubbing is something which I may have come back to it, but it is not a new journey for me. When I was much before radio also, I'm talking about year 2000, between 2001 and 2002-3.
Okay.
Yeah, around that time. I used to dub for cartoons.
Okay. तो वो okay तब से चला रहा था ये चीज़.
हाँ, वो that time it was it was a struggle period and you had to earn something to sustain, and that used to be my sustenance. I used to do dubbings. I did some channel voicing also for some time. So that was my beginning of getting into the audio industry, the dubbing industry. And when then a long gap, because I went into visuals, and a long gap happened. Then radio happened. I came back to audio. But then I would say I would take one person's name who is kind of who should be given the credit of pulling me back into the dubbing industry is Anju, late Anju, who's no more with us.
Okay.
She is the one who said, why are you not dubbing? So I said, I don't have time. The job takes most of my time. And she was such a lovely person. She said, when do you get free? I said, मुझे 7-7:30 तो बज जाता है ऑफिस में. हम 8:30 बजे की रिकॉर्डिंग रखेंगे. आजा.
Okay.
And that's when I came back to dubbing with her studio Mayukhi, Anju and Pinky's studio Mayukhi.
Mayukhi studio. So so that's simultaneously that
started
while पहले एक time पे yes.
जब मैं HT के साथ काम कर रहा था, simultaneously I was dubbing with Mayukhi and only Mayukhi, no other studio. Because कौन किसी आर्टिस्ट के लिए कौन सा स्टूडियो इतना एडजस्ट करेगा कि वो देर रात तक स्टूडियो खोल के रखे कि आर्टिस्ट आके डब करेगा. ओनली अंजू एंड पिंकी वही कर सकते हैं और वही करते हैं, आज तक करते आ रहे हैं. एज ए मैटर ऑफ फैक्ट आज भी मैं देखता हूँ आर्टिस्ट की इज्जत इतनी है उस स्टूडियो में कि उनके टाइमिंग, अगर उनको कोई आर्टिस्ट चाहिए तो उसके लिए वो रात भर स्टूडियो खोला रख सकते हैं. दैट्स द काइंड ऑफ कल्चर दे हैव, work culture they have. So Anju brought me into dubbing back, and फिर वो नैक मेरा ग्रो करता गया. फिर मुझे लगा कि यार नहीं मजा आ रहा लग गया इसमें. वो कहता है ना लहू मुंह लग गया, तो लग गया था. और then in 21 during the pandemic I decided to move and decided to start a life which is completely artistic, completely, not running after the PNL every year. So, मुझे PNL नहीं check करना था. I didn't want to do this. Everybody asked me, why didn't you open your own production house, audio production house or something? I said कि मुझे PNL के पीछे नहीं भागना. I'm done doing that. I want to remain an artist. I want to do creative stuff. I want to do lot of creative stuff, and I don't want to run after the profit and loss thing. That's why I didn't start a business. I started a business which is a digital agency, but I'm the least active member of that
particular
business. So I'm
mostly into the creative side.
Mostly completely into creative.
Completely into that.
Completely into that. So that's how it started, and now I'm here.
So great to know great to know that कि डबिंग आपका जैसे पहले से बिफोर joining HT Media. And one more thing, great to know the revolutionary part that you brought about the audio stories, audio books, and no, sorry, I'm not using the wrong word. Audio stories, audio dramas, actually,
Audio
specifically
dramas.
audio dramas. So I think by now, in the age of podcasts, even the HT group has completely, they are bringing new ideas. In fact, it's the latest thing that I took
The
up.
podcast
It's my another
awards.
podcast. Yeah, Podmasters. Yes, yes, sir. They are
Podmasters.
have yeah by the HT Smartcast team. So great to know this initiative and your sir insights about the evolution of podcast. Just a little bit like just about this particular Podmasters is coming up.
Hmm. See, what we have noticed, okay, uh, when podcasts started coming into India, and other than the music, which is the common ground,
Of course, yes,
uh, they all felt a need of audio dramas
yes.
to start with a bang. I don't know if you remember the launch of Audible Suno, which they
Hmm.
launched for Indian market. They launched with dramas with Bachchan Saab, with Anurag Kashyap, and who's of the industry. So people in India, they love to listen to dramas. They love to listen to stories. Um, and of course, there is slowly it graduated to um, talk shows, to motivational shows, to a lot of um, like parental shows and finance management shows. So it started growing that way. Then self-help books and all, then audio books they entered into.
Audiobooks, yes, yes.
Yeah. So now uh, Indian podcast is serving a platter of everything. But I still believe that audio dramas has its own place. Audio dramas are still something which people like to listen to, and that's why now everybody is all the portals, all the platforms are producing audio dramas and in different scales, but they are producing audio dramas. So that is something which I have noticed in the Indian market, Indian podcast listing scenario. Yeah, now but things are changing, things are coming up. A lot of different concepts are working. I myself am working on a very on a non-fictional concept, which I'm planning with Spotify. So, so yeah, so this is something which is my observation about the podcast in India.
And specifically, of course, in terms of course, content creation, there is, of course, a monetary aspect. Considering the recent developments, like just as Spotify announced its audience network, I guess the exact date is 2nd December 2023.
Hmm.
और YouTube म्यूजिक में भी पॉडकास्ट का आना, जैसे आप अलग से स्विच भी कर सकते हो, अब तो वीडियो और ऑडियो में स्विच
Correct,
कर सकते हो, और अब
correct.
शायद नया कुछ ऑप्शन है कि आप वहाँ सिर्फ ऑडियो ओनली कंटेंट भी ऐड कर सकते हो थ्रू द RSS फीड. सो
Hmm.
डेफिनेटली जो आप कह रहे हो, आई थिंक दिस इज गोना एक्सेलरेट, मतलब जो
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
कंटेंट क्रिएटर्स एंड द कंजम्पशन ऑफ कोर्स.
No, no. Of course, it is increasing day by day. It is increasing, and like it's. I think it's a matter of 3 years, if you ask me. In podcast, the word has become a household in last 3 years. उससे पहले
ये
पॉडकास्ट सिर्फ इंडस्ट्री के लोगों को पता था.
हाँ.
वो बाकी apps को भी they used to call them music apps.
यस.
It was never a podcast app. None of the apps were
हाँ.
podcast apps.
ट्रू ट्रू.
You know? They were all music apps. Or
यस.
Audible was Amazon was audio book app. But podcast करके कुछ वो जो वर्ड है वो आप पिछले 3 साल में इतना ज्यादा पॉपुलर हो गया इंडिया में. अब मुश्किल ये हो गई कि अब बहुत ज्यादा पॉडकास्ट हो गए. सो
हाँ, अब तो काफी.
अब बहुत ज्यादा हो
राइट
गए
राइट.
और कई दफा ऐसे देखने को मिलता है कि बहुत अधपके से कंटेंट के साथ आ रही है. नॉट like not very well prepared or well produced podcast. But yeah, uh, but good sign for the industry is that when you have so many creators coming in, So industry also takes it seriously कि नहीं इसकी demand हो सकती. So then they
Right.
start putting money into it and they start entertaining creators like us. कि ठीक है आप going to make something for us. You know? So which is a good sign and it will increase. I wouldn't say it will like go tenfold in 2 years. No, that won't happen. It will take its own time. For podcast companies, these apps are still skeptical. They are, changing their strategies every now and then. They're
Right.
experimenting new stuff.
Certainly, sir. Like, looking at this particular thing. And further talking about your acting particular USP or journey in that particular space. So एक तो मुझे अभी भी मतलब याद है जो लास्ट क्योंकि बिकॉज आई एम फॉन्ड ऑफ वेब सीरीज में काफी देखता हूँ
Hmm.
आपका यू हैड एन अपीयरेंस इन क्रिमिनल जस्टिस राइट इफ आई एम नॉट
Yeah.
रॉन्ग एज अ आई गेस इट वाज सम क्या उसको क्या कहते हैं सम कोर्ट रूम उसमें
Forensic.
यूज आई फॉरगॉट
I
एज अ
was
विटनेस एज अ
as a forensic expert. I was. Acting is something. As I said, yeah, I was crazy about theatre. I left lucrative jobs so that I could, you know, I could learn, I could do theatre. So I was saying that. So I got criminal justice. I got Rana Naidu, two big shows to work with. Two excellent directors to work with. I'm doing some more, which is in the pipeline, which is under the production, and hopefully it will give me better and more opportunities. Right now, of course, it's a beginning, so I am not doing major characters, but I'm doing characters which are important, which is just not a tertiary character, but an important character, maybe a smaller screen time, but important for the story. So that is something which I'm doing right now. So that is fulfilling the kida of acting, which is still alive inside. So,
Perfect. Anyways, coming on, remembering from this particular web series, Rana Naidu, what a coincidence that I'm having the continuous star cast. Just before this, the episode is releasing today, by the way,
okay.
most tentatively. One of your friend, you can guess the name. He
Ashwin.
is, yes.
Ashwin, yeah.
Unka, yes. So, anyways, yeah, great to know about. And so, apart from this, your writing scripts and all, you also into writing, of course. So उसके बारे में आप कुछ अगर शेयर कर सकते हैं.
देखिए क्या होता है कि I believe in one thing. That is my belief. Is when you want to become a writer or a director, you have to become a writer. You know how to write. So if you don't know how to write, I don't think you can direct. I may be wrong. I may not, a lot of people may not agree with me, but that is what I think. Because when you write, in your mind, the picture is already happening. It's already
visuals,
going.
Imagination.
Visuals are already going. Yes. And so when the visuals are already going on, you know what to shoot, or you know what to, what SFX and sound and music you want to put in your audio drama. So you know that. Clear in your mind. Like I'll give you an example. So before I started the Ramayana, I spoke to Nasir Saab's manager and I said, I want him to play Ravan. And I got a negative reply. No, he won't be doing this thing. He won't be doing radio. I don't think he'll be interested in radio. But I was persistent. I kept asking. So what I did is I wrote a promo, a Ramayana promo. I wrote a couple of scenes of Ravan. And then I produced it. I voiced it myself. I made a scratch, a sample, but a well-produced sample. One promo, two scenes. And then I called again. And I asked them, I requested Nasir Saab to give me 10-15 minutes of his time so that I can at least present myself what I am trying to do. And he called me at 8 o'clock in the morning at his place. Me and one of my colleagues, Gaurav, we went there, and he said, yes, what is that he wants me to listen to? I opened my laptop, I gave him the headphones, I played one promo. He said, do you have anything else? I played that scene, first Ravan scene. Then he said, anything else? And I played third Ravan scene, that second Ravan scene. And then he took out the headphones and he straight away said, how many days do you want? So the only reason I could convince him is because I could write those scenes. I could write those things. I could produce it in a way, the design of the sound in a way that that shows. I cannot go and explain him the whole drama and how am I going to make it. But only writing those two scenes and producing it the way I wanted to produce, or I wanted to put drama in front of the audience. When I presented it to Nasir Saab, he understood what I'm going to do. And he agreed to the style of making. And he said yes. If I was dependent on others, if I couldn't write myself, it's very difficult to explain कि यार ऐसा लिखो. It is always better कि चलो साथ में लिखते हैं. I'll tell you how to start, then you take it over. और एक बार आप राइटर को एक बार बता दो कि आप खुद लिख के कुछ बता दो कि इस तरह से मैं सोच रहा हूँ. And then once the writer gets the gist of it, gets the, हम जिसे कहते हैं वाइब या फील आ जाती है जब उसको, तब वो गजब कर देता है. लेकिन एक डायरेक्टर के लिए जरूरी है कि उसको लिखने का स्किल आना चाहिए. So when I was with radio, from writing promos to even writing radio spots, I don't know, I even lost count of the number of radio spots I've written. It may be more than 500, I think, if not more. I'm just being conservative. So, itne radio spots, promos, shows, likhna, that always helps you to grow as a thinker, grow as an artist. Because when you're writing something, आप research करते हो. आप research करते हो तो आप पढ़ते हो.
Of course, yes.
So that also enriches you with knowledge. So that is why I think writing is a very good. If you don't want, I'm not a professional writer as such. I'm not doing it as a profession now because I don't have that much time with me that I could, give it to writing. Writing is a time-taking thing. But if there is something very good or some very good stuff which I feel that I should write, I would definitely write. I write my own short stories. So the short films which I do it less, but whatever short films I've made, I've written it myself. So it gives me a satisfaction, an inner satisfaction of doing something, producing something. So while we are dubbing also in different languages when we do for films and web series, so we change a lot. We don't stick to the script which is given to us as directors also. हमें लगता है कि नहीं, यहाँ पे ये नहीं, ये थोड़ा सा ट्वीक करके बोल देंगे या इसको ऐसे बोलेंगे, इसका कॉन्टेक्स्ट चेंज कर देते हैं. हम कर देते हैं, हम करते हैं. And that only can happen if you know how to write.
And so adding to that, adding writing to the direction, you can actually, if you reach out to someone or if you want to hire someone, you can explain things at a microscopic level, if I'm not wrong.
Correct.
पूरा उनको visualize मतलब बता सकते हो, so सामने वाला समझ सकता है exactly what you want.
Exactly. That is what my point is. If you yourself, and if you see, if you take films say Indian films as an example, you will see the top directors, the top of the directors, their first film, and they're known for their first films. They're all written by them. They're all written by them. It is their story. It is themselves bringing it, like serving you on the platter. So it is like every good director has done that. They write their own stories. So it gives you an edge also from
Yes.
others. Like it
Right.
gives you an edge. And then there are certain kind of directors who just pick up articles from newspapers and make films on it, and they never make big, because they are just repeating somebody else's stories. They're just picking up articles, news, some murder, some rape, some this, some that, and they're just converting that. They're just making it. They're just dramatizing those stories and putting it in front of you. So I don't discredit that kind of direction or that kind of skills. That is also a skill. But if I have to see a news article in a visual form, I would prefer seeing a documentary than a film. Because in a documentary, I would get much more reality than drama.
Of course, yes.
I would prefer to see newer stories. I would prefer, as an audience also, I prefer to see newer stories. Or if there is a history, if there is a mythology, which can be said in a different way, why not? But,
So, yes.
Yeah.
Coming on
Yes.
this part, you spoke about writing, copywriting, back from the radio days and writing scripts and all. So इस पर चर्चा ना हो ऐसा हो ही नहीं सकता. That writing पे जब बात आती है तो आजकल okay, you're getting the point where I'm coming. या तो आजकल इंसान लिखता है या फिर ये काम जैसे टूल्स के जरिए भी हो सकता है. That is of course artificial intelligence. And we just you give a prompt and वो सामने कुछ स्क्रिप्ट लिख के दे सकता है. शॉर्ट फिल्म की लोग स्क्रिप्ट लिखवाते हैं, डॉक्यूमेंट्रीज एंड सम थोड़ा बहुत माइनर लेवल पे इस पे काम भी हो रहा है. योर एनालिसिस ऑन दैट, इफ यू हैव यूज्ड योर ओन एक्सपीरियंस विद एआई टूल्स, अगर आपने इसको यूज किया है प्रॉम्प्ट वगैरह के जरिए, तो वुड लाइक टू सम एग्जांपल लाइक चैट जीपीटी, गूगल बार्ड. या
मैंने कोशिश की है. ओके, I have tried because I wanted to understand that what they are offering. Okay, so मैंने ये रियलाइज किया कि जितना इंटेलिजेंस मुझे यूज करना पड़ रहा है इस आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस को प्रॉम्प्ट करने में, उससे आधे इंटेलिजेंस में मैं स्क्रिप्ट खुद लिख लूंगा.
खुद ही लिख लोगे. यस, ज्यादा मेहनत लग जाएगी इनफैक्ट उसमें,
क्योंकि वो प्रॉम्प्ट उसको समझाना it's a difficult task. मुझे लगता है उसके लिए एक लंबी ट्रेनिंग की जरूरत है. वो ऐसे ही नहीं हो जाएगा कि आपने प्रॉम्प्ट किया और हो गया. वो प्रॉम्प्ट को समझाना कि आपको एग्जैक्टली क्या चाहिए. आप आई एम श्योर यू वुड, बिकॉज यू आर वेरी अवेयर, आई नो दैट अबाउट, एंड यू आर वेरी इनटू इट. यू ट्राइंग अ लॉट ऑफ स्टफ टू अंडरस्टैंड हाउ द एआई वर्क्स. बट आई एम श्योर तुमने अगर कोशिश की होगी एक शॉर्ट फिल्म की स्टोरी लिखने की, दे जस्ट गिव यू डायलॉग्स.
यस यस, इट इज जस्ट लाइक वो तो पूरा जो डेटा है उसमें से घुमा के मतलब वो वो पूरा करके
एक डायलॉग का सेट दे देंगे. देयर इज नो स्टोरी.
यस,
यू वोंट फाइंड अ स्टोरी. यू वोंट फाइंड इमोशंस. यू डोंट नो. जितना भी आप प्रॉम्प्ट कर लो, या तो आपको प्रॉम्प्ट करने के लिए अलग से एक ट्रेनिंग लेनी पड़ेगी. भाई साहब, मुझे लगता है उसमें ज्यादा मेहनत है. I am better. I may sound dated, I may sound old, but giving you an example, like the digital era has started, especially in our bankings and all this. Trust me, there are a lot of things which they have made it easy. There are a lot of things which they have made very, very difficult.
Yes.
It was easier to go to the branch, talk to your branch manager, have a nice chat with the rest of the people. You knew everyone in your banks, where you used to bank. And then get your things done, get your stuff done. They would help you. They will go extra miles to help you. And थे कि ठीक है इसको ऐसे नहीं ऐसे करते, चलो मैं लिख देता हूँ आपके लिए. Today, if you have a slightly premium account, you get these people calling you and telling you, sir, we are your personal banking uh, executive. We look after you. And what they look after you is just selling their product, nothing else. So I'm telling you, yeah, and then other digital stuff also. Transferring money, changing a phone number, changing this, address. It has become so difficult. It was easier earlier. Things have become very, very difficult. The difficulty levels are increasing because everybody is not equipped or they have not understood properly.
Yes.
So just like that, it is taking time. I'm talking about my country. I'm talking about India. It is taking time for people to understand digitalization. Similarly, it will take a long time for people in India to understand the use of AI. I am only talking about writing and voicing and the industry where I am working. It is, some people may find it easy, but I would say, I'm sorry, but काम चोरी.
वो कह सकते हैं कि maybe in terms of giving creative ideas, जैसे कुछ if someone is a copywriter, थोड़ा बहुत आपको आइडिया मिल सकते हैं, but ultimately तो अपना एक एग्जीक्यूशन होगा,
अपना आपको एग्जीक्यूशन करवा. मैं क्या कहता हूँ कि आप use AI for your research.
Yes, right.
That is something which you use the tool right. You don't give away your job to AI and then don't cry कि हमारी job छीन लिया है. So don't do that. पता लग जाता है आपका कैलिबर क्या है, आप किस तरह के स्क्रिप्ट्स लिखते आ रहे हैं और अचानक से आपने क्या स्क्रिप्ट लिख के भेज दिया. आपको वाहवाही मिल जाएगी कुछ समय के लिए, but that is not your original stuff.
In the long run, it won't work. Yeah.
In the long run, it won't work.
Yes.
You will run out of ideas because फिर आपकी तो मैंने वही बोला ना कि इंटेलिजेंस चाहिए. वो हम कहते हैं नकल के लिए भी अकल चाहिए. तो वो उतनी अकल तो चाहिए कि आप प्रॉम्प्ट क्या करोगे उसको. उस AI टूल को आप प्रॉम्प्ट क्या करोगे.
I would like to add on your feedback on this. I read somewhere there is an Instagram account. There is an AI superstar. AI superstar. मतलब, of course, the superstar doesn't exist. Now that AI superstar is starting a podcast. I don't know what. Even the जो आवाजें सुनाई देंगी वो भी असली नहीं है जो superstar. And I don't understand this logic. Brands are investing on AI superstars, as in they are getting sponsorships and all. I don't know what is happening, but still.
See, it's a fad.
Different.
It's a fad. It's a new thing. There is nobility.
It's a new thing, yes.
So people are getting attracted towards it. यार, I remember जब हमारे जमाने में Giant Robot एक सीरीज आया करता था. So it was a story of a robot, a big, huge robot. वो हमारे लिए नोबेलिटी थी. हम लोग उसको देखते थे उस सीरीज को. उसके बाद फिल्में आई. रोबोकॉप आया, सीरीज ऑफ फिल्म्स कॉल्ड रोबोकॉप. That time robots were new.
Yeah.
That time robots were new. आजकल रोबोट्स कहाँ यूज होते हैं? घर साफ करने के लिए. You get this robotic vacuum cleaners, which जो अपने आप जा जाके अब वैल्यू कम हो गई उस चीज की. So एक समय होता है जब सब कुछ उसी के आसपास होना शुरू हो जाता है. उसके बाद फिर उसका टाइम निकल जाता है, फिर कुछ नया आता है. और टेक्नोलॉजी जिस स्पीड से बढ़ रही है तो बहुत ज्यादा शेल्फ लाइफ इसकी भी नहीं होगी. ये भी जाएगा, इससे बेटर कोई चीज आएगा. सो इट्स लाइक अभी ऐसा हो रहा है, लेकिन आई डोंट थिंक इट हैज अ वेरी बिग शेल्फ लाइफ. आप मतलब there are some radio stations who started AI RJ. Yeah. I won't
even
name
AI
the
news anchors or.
So like RJ, a radio jockey. A radio is an interactive medium. इट्स नॉट लाइक
राइट।
टेलीविजन जहां आप सिर्फ बोलते हैं और सामने वाला देखता है सुनता है। रेडियो में आप उन्हें फोन कर सकते हैं, हम उनसे बात कर सकते हैं, हम कॉन्टेस्ट खेलते हैं, हम सवाल पूछते हैं, आप जवाब दीजिए फोन करके। सो इट इज एन इंटरैक्टिव मीडियम। अब आपने उसमें बैठा दिया एआई, तो रेडियो का जो बेसिक है या जो सोल, जो रूह है उसकी, वो है इंटरैक्टिवनेस। लोग रातों को बैठ के
राइट।
शो सुनते हैं, मतलब जो नाइट शो सुनते हैं, एंड दे कॉल द आरजेस टू टॉक टू देम कि और अपनी परेशानियां बताते हैं, अपनी चीजें बताते हैं। वो है रूह, दैट इज द सोल ऑफ रेडियो। आपने वही छीन लिया। अब आपने वहां एआई बिठा दिया, एआई के पास रूह नहीं आ सकती, सोल नहीं आ सकता।
एब्सोल्युटली।
वो आपके लिखे हुए शब्दों को बहुत सुंदर से बोल देगा, डिलीवर कर देगा, लेकिन वो एक तरफा कम्युनिकेशन होगा, वो दो तरफा कम्युनिकेशन नहीं रह जाएगा।
इवन इफ इट स्टार्ट्स इट विल बी अ काइंड ऑफ प्रोग्राम्ड थिंग, की प्रोग्रामिंग है इस तरह से वो कर रहा है, मतलब
एग्जैक्टली।
एक लिमिटेशन है।
और जरूरी नहीं है कि आपको सही जवाब मिले, क्योंकि वो तो आप अगर अगर आप कोई चीज कहते हैं एआई से ऑन रेडियो, जस्ट एग्जांपल, वो तो क्या पकड़ेगा, वो शब्द पकड़ेगा ना आपके, वो वर्ड्स पकड़ेगा, उसमें से कुछ डिराइव करके निकालेगा आंसर, क्योंकि वो तो डेटा यूज कर रहा है।
एब्सोल्युटली।
वो हम उसको आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस बोलते हैं, बट वो इंटेलिजेंट तो है नहीं ना, वी आर कॉलिंग इट एआई, बट अगर आप सोचो इंटेलिजेंस तो नहीं है ना उसके अंदर, वो डेटा यूज कर रहा है।
वो डेटा यूज करके हमें,
वो डेटा यूज करके कोई इंफॉर्मेशन बना के आपको बता। तो अगर सवाल ये है कि क्या आप मान लीजिए अगर एआई आरजे सवाल पूछता है, क्या आप कौन बनेगा करोड़पति देखते हैं, और अगर जो लिसनर है उसने जवाब में हाँ या ना की जगह ये बोल दिया, मुझे अमिताभ बच्चन बहुत पसंद है, गया आपका एआई। उसको आगे नहीं पता, वो अब उसको समझ सुनाई देगा या अमिताभ बच्चन, अब उसका डेटा ढूंढेगा बच्चन। अब उसका अगला जो बात करेगा वो बच्चन पे बात करेगा, वो भटक गया रास्ते से।
राइट राइट राइट।
क्योंकि वो डेटाबेस यूज कर रहा है, वो इंटेलिजेंस यूज नहीं कर रहा। सो it may be a brilliant idea but not intelligent. There are
Yes,
two different things.
two different aspects. Yeah.
So yes, it may be brilliant, it's a very brilliant concept, but no, it cannot replace intelligence. It cannot. Imagine कल मेडिकल फील्ड में अगर एआई आ जाता है और डॉक्टर्स की जगह, रियल डॉक्टर्स की जगह एआई आपका इलाज करने लगे, think about those days.
ये तो हर जगह पे।
I'm not against the concept. I'm just saying that don't go crazy over it. Use it like a tool. Don't lose your own individuality. Use it like a tool. ये एक और टूल है, उसको इस्तेमाल, आप गूगल आया था, हमने गूगल को, हम आज तक गूगल इस्तेमाल करते आ रहे हैं। विकिपीडिया आया था, हम विकिपीडिया यूज करते आ रहे हैं। They were tools, revolutionary tools, but they were tools. एआई मैं देख रहा हूँ जिस तरह से इम्पैक्ट कर रहा है लोगों के दिमाग को, ऐसा लग रहा है कि वो गुलाम होते जा रहे हैं। वो मत हो,
डिपेंडेंट मत हो,
इतना डिपेंड मत हो जाइए कि जो हुआ हमारे साथ इस जनरेशन के साथ, आई एम सॉरी टू से, बट ये हुआ है। हम लोगों को जब कोई शब्द नहीं मिलता था, हम डिक्शनरी ढूंढते थे। मुझे नहीं पता कि आज का 20 साल का बच्चा, उसने कभी डिक्शनरी देखी भी होगी।
वो कह सकते हैं कि वो जो एक होता है ना, जैसे ये तो चलो आपने सर जैसे पढ़ाई लिखाई डिक्शनरी की बात की, एक होता है ना जैसे एक अपने स्कूल कॉलेज के टाइम पे पिक्चर देखने जाते हो, लाइन पे लगते हो, तो मैं आई कैन से आई एम अ काइंड ऑफ आई बिलोंग टू हाइब्रिड जनरेशन की, मतलब हम जब स्कूल में थे तब ये ना, आई कम फ्रॉम अ कैसेट सीडी की तरफ ट्रांजिशन हुई डिजिटल एज की तरफ। आई बिकॉज आई एम बॉर्न इन 90s। लेकिन अभी जो बॉर्न हुए ना, मुझे लग रहा है उनको एफर्ट, वो तो होता है ना, जो एक मजा होता है, आप सोशली बात करते हो, आप कुछ जैसे आज जस्ट वन फ्लिक ऑफ सेकेंड यू हैव टिकट्स ऑन बुक माई शो, एक होता था कि आप लाइन में लगते थे, आपको ना एक मजा होता था कि अच्छा नई पिक्चर आ रही है। तो वो लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स, ऑफ कोर्स द डिजिटलाइजेशन एंड प्लस आफ्टर 2020 एआई, लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स हैव चेंज्ड आफ्टर दैट,
सी
स्पेशली फॉर द
देयर,
जनरेशन वाज बोर्न इन दिस एज।
हाँ, ये कुछ अच्छी चीजें हैं, कुछ बुरी चीज है।
पूरी चीजें, यस।
हाँ, क्योंकि अच्छाई भी है इनमें, ऐसा नहीं है कि ये लोग शैतान है। there are a lot of good things you today we use so many of these kind of tools। जैसा मैंने कहा कि हम गूगल का कितना इस्तेमाल करते हैं, गूगल मैप्स। अब हम पता नहीं पूछा करते, हम गूगल मैप्स देखते हैं, यू नो। तो बट इट्स वेरी पोएटिक, इट यूज्ड टू बी वेरी पोएटिक। जब आप रुक के किसी रीजन में, आपको भाषा नहीं पता है, लेकिन आप फिर भी किसी तरह से कम्युनिकेट करके पूछते थे ये जगह कहाँ है, और आपको वो पता बताया जाता था। दैट हैड इट्स ओन, एंड दोस थिंग्स क्रिएटेड स्टोरीज।
यस।
आज क्या स्टोरीज लिखेंगे जब आप ये जो आपने अभी कहा कि लाइन में लग के पिक्चर के टिकट खरीदना,
हाँ।
दिस हैज अ स्टोरी।
यस।
This is a story which you can tell your kids. What will today's kids tell? मेरा इंटरनेट स्लो था और मैंने फिर भी गूगल करके ये आंसर ढूंढ के निकाला। Is that a story?
Yeah, that's the difference.
So that's the difference. So वही मैं बता रहा हूँ, डिपेंडेंट हम भी हैं बहुत सारी चीजों पे। ऐसा नहीं है कि हम लोग कोई भी चीज इस्तेमाल नहीं करते। बट मेरा ये है कि हाँ, वो ये जनरेशन जो वो मेहनत है, आई थिंक उस मेहनत को किसी तरह से धीरे धीरे कम होती जा रही, मेहनत कम होती जा रही।
मुझे तो उसे पता नहीं, आने वाले 50 साल में तो जैसे बच्चे उठेंगे सुबह, एक बटन दबाया और ब्रश भी हो गया। पता नहीं, आई डोंट नो व्हाट इज गोना हैपन।
मुझे तो
ऐसे
पता
व्हाट।
नहीं कि आने वाले 50 साल में बच्चे होंगे भी या वो भी एआई होंगे।
राइट
वी हैव
राइट
अ
राइट।
फील दैट हमने 2 बच्चों का लाइसेंस लिया है, एआई बच्चों का, और हम वो बच्चे बड़े कर रहे हैं।
And you need that. In fact, this is also some I heard that AI generated, ऐसे भी कुछ खबर आई थी, अब तो मैंने देखना ही बंद कर दिया। So much, such mind is saturated with that, all
हाँ
that
हाँ,
stuff online.
क्योंकि नया चीज है, और नई चीज के बारे में बहुत कम इंफॉर्मेशन है। इंफॉर्मेशन इतनी ज्यादा है नहीं, तो गेसवर्क बहुत ज्यादा होता है।
Yes, assumptions ज्यादा होती है।
assumptions बहुत ज्यादा होते हैं कि हाँ ये भी हो जाएगा, वो भी हो जाएगा, सब कुछ हो जाएगा साहब। जब पहली बार हवाई जो जहाज उड़ी थी, वो आकाश में गई थी, तो भाई तब भी तो बोला था कि एक दिन ये आकाश पार कर जाएगा, कर गए।
कर गया। Yes.
तो वो होगा, वक्त के साथ सब कुछ होगा। अभी लेकिन वो क्या होता है, जब कोई नई चीज आती है तो उसके पीछे इतनी कहानियां, इतने assumptions बनने शुरू हो जाते हैं कि तब आपको फिल्टर आउट करना पड़ता है, क्या पढ़ें क्या ना पढ़ें, कौन सी इन्फॉर्मेशन सही है, कौन सी इन्फॉर्मेशन नहीं है। तो यू हैव टू बी वेरी अवेयर एंड वेरी mindful of this.
Right. Of course, in mid of all kind of information overload भी तो है आजकल इतनी जगह पे, YouTube बहुत ज्यादा।
Too much.
Yeah. So anyway, sir, ये मतलब ऐसा लगता है चर्चा चलती रहे, मतलब मन ही नहीं करता रुके। So anyway, sir, it was great to have you on this podcast. Thank you so much for coming on the show, and बहुत अच्छा लगा सर आपसे बात करके।
Thank you very much. Same here. मैं तुम्हारा पॉडकास्ट देखता था पहले भी, because so many of my friends have been there. उसके बाद when I met you during the Voice Fest, India Voice Fest, and I was like, okay, chalo, now this thing, and before that we interacted on
little bit on Instagram.
On Instagram we interacted a bit, but I like people who are working and who are trying to push this industry, who have love for this industry, and that's why I love Darpan Mehta so much, because he is doing such a great thing for this voice industry.
Initiative, great.
Yeah, or what Ganesh Divekar or Pavan Kalra, the whole AVA group is doing.
AVA, Association of Voice Artists.
Yeah. So I'm very grateful to these people, to everybody who is trying to push our industry, who is trying to, tell people that this is just, you don't think this is easy. It is a lot of work. It is a craft which people should understand. I
Yeah, it's
tried
craft.
in my position in HT. I tried to do the same thing. I tried to tell people that audio is a very very integral part. आप शोले म्यूट करके देख लो, अगर आपको अच्छे लगे तो बता देना. So
Yes.
that was, I also, yeah, आप Godfather अगर आप म्यूट कर दो Godfather और देख लो, आपको अगर अच्छा लगे तो मुझे बता देना. ऑडियो
Yes, yes,
इतना
yes.
इम्पोर्टेंट होता है. The music, the dialogues, the mixing, everything is so much, such an important part,
Right.
and which people didn't think anything about it, And
Right.
I tried doing it I still try to do it as much as possible, and I'm thankful to people like you, people like Darpan, and all the members of AWA, that they're trying to give the industry back something. That's a great job you're doing. Congratulations.
Thank
for
you
that.
so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
And congratulations for the sponsor also.
Thank you again.
You are among very few who gets a sponsor in India for a podcast. Trust me.
It's just like touch wood. It's all the great wishes of well-wishers, and of course I support from all my fellow artists, and of course thankful to you, sir, for coming on this. And yeah, let's see. अब ये चर्चा तो काफी लंबी चलेगी और
बिल्कुल. ठीक है. Thank you very much.